time to talk about macOS 26 Tahoe? With that name, does it mean that macOS 26, because it's macOS Tahoe, it's only half Californian?
Ooh, there you go.
That's correct.
Right. The state line runs straight through that lake.
Sure does.
Well, and they only half cut out the Intel machines.
This is the last version that will run on Intel Macs, and not all of them. Right. Yeah.
Your mileage may vary.
All right. The thing I want to talk about in macOS 26, there's several things, but
colored folders with emoji. Woohoo!
Well, Spotlight gets a huge upgrade here. The fact that they put this in like the third quarter of the sleep section of the keynote, where everybody was like needing to get distracted and check their messages and do all the other things, it boggles my mind, because they added a clipboard history to Spotlight. Hello? We've wanted this for so long, it's ridiculous. But there it is. It's just right there. And the shortcuts, the user configurable shortcuts that you can add to Spotlight, making it essentially a launcher. And when I say shortcuts, if you missed it, because it was very quickly glossed over, where you bring up Spotlight, Command Spacebar, and then you can, there are some system pre-configured shortcuts, and then there are some that you just type, and they're literally, you just type a couple of characters and it will do a thing for you. Like, I'm looking at like SM to send a message, or AR to add a reminder. But you can create your own shortcuts in the Shortcuts app that you then set a keystroke for, and you can run your own things from there too.
I'm trying to remember the name of that third-party launcher that we all used.
Alfred.
Find any file.
Alfred. Yes, it's
Alfred.
much more like Alfred.
Yes.
Now, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing I thought it was going to deprecate is the find any file. It seems so much more powerful, and it's
I don't
its
know
filter.
about that.
It has filters and projections based on. I mean,
I appreciate your optimism, Pete.
Okay, I'll take that.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Only because
it'll be as good as AI.
Well,
it was announced to be last year.
No, but see, I think Find Any File has a different purpose, because Spotlight is meant to intelligently filter a lot of things out and surface what it thinks you want. And that's fine. But at times, you know what you want, and you want to be able to tell the system, go find this. And that, I think, is where Find Any File currently shines and will continue.
Shine, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they did add the context of just being within files, which is kind of nice.
Yes. Yeah,
right?
that's fair.
So within Spotlight, you can make sure what you're spotlighting for is just within files. Very much more easily now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think the words they use, you can filter the results and manipulate those results further with words.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why I like it. But I mean, so even some of the cool stuff. Go, hey, background removal. You're working on it's like
when you're in pictures, you mean like
he was using that. He was doing that in Spotlight. So he grabbed that picture, he threw it into a document, and then went, background removal, and it worked right on the photo that he just put in.
So what Pete's referring to, I needed to. Sorry, let me translate this for people.
I know what I meant.
Yeah, what Spotlight adds that was them showcasing a Pages function. Mm-hmm. So you could have done that by clicking on the picture in Pages and finding the menu bar item that has that. What Spotlight now, in addition to the things we've mentioned, what Spotlight also does is it lets you, instead of using the help menu to find a menu bar item, Spotlight will find that menu bar item. So Spotlight was not doing the picture removal.
Oh, fair
Spotlight
enough.
was just finding your menu bar item, but it is nice to have it all in one spot. Yeah.
Yeah. And apparently, I mean, that's going to be for, I think, definitely all of Apple's apps. I'm assuming there's something they surface for developers to allow them to tap into that as well. So the point is, it's a context. So when you're in the app, if you activate Spotlight, it will result menu items, basically menu options or features within the app. So you don't have to go digging through the menu system. So if you don't remember where a particular thing is, or you don't remember the command for it, you could use Spotlight, and contextually with it, whatever app you're in, it's going to factor that into the Spotlight results, basically, is what it comes to. And probably I would assume surface it higher in the results.
Because it's in that app.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm in Pages right now, so I'm going to show you Pages commands before I show you, say, Safari search results, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Another thing that I really like, we mentioned shortcuts, is that shortcuts now gets triggers for, time of day. When you add one example they shared was when you add a file to a folder, you can have it trigger a shortcut. So folder actions comes back now. You don't, maybe Hazel got Sherlocked in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Also, within the intelligence stuff, if I'm remembering right, you have now the ability to do can't remember what Apple calls the on-device stuff of Apple AI, but then there's also the private cloud compute.
Yes.
But more importantly, you can also select ChatGPT
in a shortcut to use. Yeah. Yes. Yep. Yep. I know. There's a lot, and this is why I was surprised that they buried macOS where they did. Now, I realize they have a lot more people using iOS than they do macOS, and that's likely why. The whole liquid glass thing, to me, I feel like it's going to take some getting used to, especially in macOS. The idea of a translucent menu bar, like there is no menu bar, there are just menus that float atop the screen. I don't know how I feel about that. I was going to say I will have an open mind about it. I'm forced to have an open mind about it if I want to run the operating system. Although it does open up an opportunity for either a developer to create the thing that adds whatever you want behind the menu bar, or create a background picture and put your own thing at the top of the screen, a bar across, and there you go. There's your menu bar. You get it back. But it's go ahead, Adam.
Now I'm just remembering, didn't Windows try something like this?
Yes.
With Windows Glass? How did that go for them?
Yeah. Not as well. Not as well as you would think.
Was that Vista?
Yeah. I think it was Vista, right?
Yeah.
I think,
yeah. I mean, they've done some interesting things. It was the most interesting thing to me, and I'm assuming this wasn't done just for the Worldwide Developer Conference demo, but when they were presenting that part of it, right, they were in presumably what was supposed to be Apple's UI UX, lab or area inside Apple Park. And did you notice they had literal physical representations of like everything that is in the UI? They literally had, I don't know if they were pieces of lucite or plastic or actual glass, and then they had OS representations, and they actually had physical objects that they could move around. Presumably, I would think to see how the translucency worked, how the light refractions worked, and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know if that was dog and pony show, or if that's like literally how they were developing the OS.
I know I grabbed a screenshot of that when they showed it, because it blew me away, and I was unless we come up with something better, it was what I was planning on using as the episode image for this one, because they had like a little hello floating in the middle of the table, or not floating, sitting on the middle of the table, but it's all glass. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, I know. But what better way to learn how glass reacts when you put it over things than to
put it over things?
Put glass over things. I mean, like, why not? Why guess at this? Like, it's really not that difficult to do. So yeah. No, I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah. So I think that's the difference with the Windows stuff, is that the Windows stuff was very much digital, and what was beautiful about this that I really appreciated was that it has the substance to it. It has sort of a thickness to it, even though you're basically viewing it in two dimensions most of the time, unless you're doing some of the 3D optical, like tilt sort of stuff. Yeah. But especially like when you had content going under the elements, how it reacted in terms of, it wasn't just like the blurred out translucency, it's the warp. They've got the more clear glass warping effect that glass puts on objects. And it looked beautifully done, at least in the demos. So I can appreciate that.
Yeah. One of the things they did with icons, and I think this, again, transcends all the operating systems, or at least most of them, is you get light mode, dark mode, you get tinted mode. Oh, there's
tinted mode, yep.
Tinted mode. And then also clear mode. And I love that they did that. I don't know if it's something, I feel like it has limited utility.
Yes.
But maybe there are times, like maybe doing a presentation, tinted mode might be really helpful, because you're not drawing, there is no color in the user interface elements to draw your attention away from the thing that you want to show to people. But it seemed odd to me. Like, why did they spend time on this? And my guess is that clear mode was a precursor to tinted mode, right? We need to get it clear so that we can tint it however we want. And maybe somebody said, sure, let's roll this out, because one person liked it on the team or something.
You know what a nice evolution of this, I think, would be? Is a focus mode, or a focused working mode, where only the frontmost element, you can choose at any given point where only the frontmost element is in like regular mode, and everything else in the background is in this glass mode, or whatever they call it, right?
Yeah,
so everything else just fades to the back, but it's still visible and readable. It's kind of this ghostly image, but your frontmost window is full.
Imagine having an app icon badged, but the badge isn't red. Right. Like that.
Ooh.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.